One of my favorite singers, songwriter, Lady Gaga, said once, and she said, "Some women choose to follow men, and some women choose to follow their dreams." And if you're wondering which way to go, remember that your career will never wake you up and tell you that it doesn't love you anymore. And I think this is true. One of the biggest mistakes we make is that we assume we always learn from our mistakes. And I've met enough people who learned little from their own stupidity. Guys, we all know these people, and in fact, we probably are these people. You know why? It's damn hard to learn from your mistakes, and I've never met someone who actually enjoyed failing. Let's be honest, no one likes to make mistakes and lose their time, energy, or money. So that's why we need to make an effort to learn from the things we wish we didn't do. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Welcome to Late Night Talks with Anne. Time check, it's 1 a.m. in the morning. And yeah. Learning from your mistakes does not happen automatically, and it requires thinking and reflection. So here's my reflection on the lesson I learned from the mistakes I made in my 20s. The first one is that don't you think you know everything? I meet idiots all the time, and the reason I recognize them is that I used to be one of them. And I realized that every time you don't listen to people smarter than you, when you want to sound smart or think you know it all, you're being an idiot. That's true. And it's time to move your ego to the side and understand that life is not about impressing others, and you have to think about it actually. And I think it's all about the fulfillment, collaboration, and the common good. That if you want to achieve those things, you need to be humble. And there's a good news for people who get annoyed by idiots. If they don't decide to become humble, life will make them humble at some point. And based on my experience, that is exactly true. The second one is, do not blame people for your unhappiness. As a child, you're taken care of by others. That may be your parents, siblings, family members, foster parents, or any other person who takes responsibility. And hence, you assume that someone is responsible for you. But you know what? That's not true. When you grow up, you are responsible for you. So never look at others when you are unhappy, because it's not fair. To the people in your life, instead, you have to accept your unhappiness and do something about it. Did you get it? Okay. So the third one is, I think you have to stop wasting time on losers. There's a big chance that people in your environment don't strive the same things as you. And at some point in my 20s, I was surrounded by people who drop out of college and get pregnant. But it doesn't have to be that obvious. Many people live a timid life, and people who don't want anything from life and who spend their time watching TV. With that, you don't have to give your time to those people because the cost is very high and you might become one of them. And we don't want that to happen. So for the fourth point of view, for number 4, you have to think that, or you have to always remember that love is not what you think. You know what? Most of us have this twisted idea about life, and I want her to treat me this and this way. And who are you to claim such thing? And if the other doesn't live up to your expectation, we flip out or leave. And that's actually exactly what's happening right now. That's called conditional love. Or, strive for the opposite. I remember, um, I'm still learning this. It's difficult to let go of your expectations about love, but you have to. Otherwise, you'll never be happy in your relationship. So, I think, you have to stop expecting so much from other people, especially in your partner or on your partner. Number 5, you have to actually don't have a lot of time. So, when you're young, you think you have an endless sea of time because you're young and you have all the time in the world. You can do anything you want, and when you blink and you're celebrating your 30th birthday, boom, that's it. It's actually a matter of simple math. Just ask yourself these questions. How much time am I wasting on things that give me a zero fulfillment? Another question. Do I like my job? And the third question that you have to ask to yourself, do I like the people in my life? The answer to this question will give you clarity about who you're spending your time. And you have to think about it all the time. Because, time is gold. Number 6. You're probably not as awesome as you think. And, there's always someone better looking, cooler, smarter, stronger, or name it, than you, as always. So, what you have to do is, you have to stop thinking you're awesome. Compared to what? Because that statement implies you're comparing yourself to others. Just be yourself and don't compare yourself to others. That is the best way for you to appreciate yourself, I think. And number 7, you have to look when you stop learning and developing yourself. You're dead. Yeah, I'm not kidding. When I got out of college, I stopped learning. Guess what? I felt stuck after 2 years. And I think you have to push yourself to learn something every day. And that's definitely the thing that we have to learn on a daily basis, that we don't have to stuck ourselves. We have to do things that makes us happy or learn something new. You have to learn something new day by day. If you're not getting better, actually you're getting worse. And another one, doing hard things give you more pleasure. And this is actually true. I always run away from hard things. Improving yourself, working out, saving money, building a business, helping others, investing time in your relationship. It's all hard when you do it right. It's really all hard when you really do it right. But you know what? Doing those hard things will have more return in your life, like time, energy, and money. But when you do something that requires a lot of effort, you feel good about it. And when you're tired and still go to the gym for a hard workout, you feel a sense of accomplishment and pride. That's actually unrivaled. And up until today, I'm still working out with that. And actually, it's the same with your career. If you're not doing hard things, don't be surprised if you don't feel alive. Next, remember this, that being alone will make you more at peace. And it's actually a dangerous sign if you can never be alone. I always have had close friends, and they are very few. But I realized that I needed to be alone to grow. And when you're alone, you have time to know who you are. And when you're always with others, you're just a product of the other people in your life. And it's very important that sometimes you need to actually distance yourself from others. It will really make you a better person. That is actually based on my experience, and it is from my very own point of view. Another thing is that small decisions lead to big outcomes. And example, another drink wouldn't hurt, right? Sleeping in today is not really bad. And no one cares if I skip my workout today, right? I can easily spend money on a new phone, right? Yeah. The answer is actually no. No. And no to every small other decision you think that has no impact on your life. Because the truth is that your life is the result of your small decision. And you're what you do every day. Surprisingly, that's actually really a good news. Because it really that means you can turn your life around today, and by simply doing something small that has a good impact on your life. And that is very important. And actually, what if you making mistakes? Who gives a shit, right? Just make sure you always learn from it. And I know it doesn't sound very nice, but that's what generally people will do or try it in their late teens and early 20s and realize the repercussions later. And it's actually the notion of finding the one true love, or that one true person who somehow completes us and makes our life worthy, that has impaired and in many cases jeopardized many promising careers and dreams. And that is actually, that's it for today. And you know what, just a disclaimer, I do really acknowledge that there are many people who have had very beautiful and long-lasting love stories, and this answer is, or this opinion is not meant for them and does not really intend to hurt them. But so if you're really desperately in love in your 20s, the best gift that you can get from your love is a heartbreak. And that is the first thing that I actually consider when I'm giving advice in my students, because the main problem that they have nowadays is actually heartbreak, surprisingly, in their young ages like that. So there are so many mistakes we make in our late 20s and regret for the rest of the life. And I'm going to, share my experiences, additional experiences. The first one is actually not taking care of your academics, and this is actually for the students nowadays. Seriously, this is actually one of the biggest mistakes we make in late 20s. We take exams so casually just to look cool in a gang of guys. Some students, as I observe, do not really study and later regret it. Another thing is, not taking care of health. And as we all know, we consume lots and lots of junk food, do not exercise, do not run, later we regret and join gym to stay fit. And another thing is the concept of friendship is highly misunderstood. Best friend is always there and will not leave you. Trust me, this is one of the most biggest illusion, because nobody is going to be there forever. And everybody has their own set of goals, priorities. Eventually they move on, and I am not really saying friends are not necessary, but what I'm trying to say is that concept of best friend forever doesn't really exist in real world. And that is actually based on my experience as well. Another thing, like smoking, drinking, these things doesn't really define our coolness quotient. Just to appear cool in a group, we do such thing. And I just wanted to tell you that please do not do such things. And another thing is that I'm not really generalizing it, but most of us are really not aware of our true dream and passion, what we really want to do in our life. And as we reach in our late 20s, we start participating in rat race. He's doing that, he's doing this, and I will do that. Do not participate in that rat race. You have to chase your true dreams, your true goals, and if you're unable to find, just recall what was your dream when you were a child. That's what your passion, that's what you want to become. And it's very important for you to be successful someday. Another thing is, not taking care of your parents. And I just want to say, please take care of them, spend time with them, because they're not going to be there forever. And you will miss those moments later in your life, because we all shower our love to mom, but we never say anything to our dad. You might hug him and hug him tight and let him know he's your superhero, your inspiration, and you can actually confess your love, your affection, and see his response, because tears will actually roll on from his eyes. And another thing is, it's actually the one thing that some other girls talking about during high school days. I heard my classmate talk about brands. And yes, brands. We run behind brands in late 20s, See, I agree, everybody wants to appear cool in a group, and everybody wants to be, wear best brands, but keep in mind, you can actually do it later when you'll be making good bucks of money. But do not waste your parents' hard-earned money on brands maybe you don't know where he's sacrificing to give the brand life you want to live. You have to be sensible about it. And actually, that's it. So those are the things that I actually learned in my late 20s, and I hope it would really help you a lot as you go along and as you progress in life. And if you're listening to this podcast episode, I hope you really learn a lot, and I hope that one of these days you reflect that these are the things that you have to learn as early as possible, or as early as your age today. And yes, thank you for listening. So if you have questions, suggestions, comments, and violent reaction with this episode, you can actually comment down below. Especially, I'll be posting this podcast episode in my Facebook page and in my YouTube account. It's John Venture PH, and Late Night Talks with Anne in Facebook. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm really sorry for the little chokes that I have, because I'm really running out of air sometimes. And by the way, time check, it's 1:53 a.m. today. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good night.